But first, we got to talk about what's the most important thing of today. No, it's not your taxes. You should have had those done already. As I bring Sam Ekstrom in, my producer, Sam, it's game day. Like, I cannot remember the last time I've been like paying attention and excited for game day of basketball. Yes, we know there's baseball going on. Everybody's excited about Byron Buxton. Yes, the NFL draft is Thursday. Everybody's excited about Derek Stingley Jr. But today, the Minnesota Timberwolves play the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis. Now, I did wake up today a little bit nervous. This is why. Last time my daughter had softball practice, the Timberwolves, I asked the coach, he had the game on, like right in front of the net as he's pitching. He's looking down at the game. And he's like, oh, yeah, the Timberwolves are up 16. And I'm like, what? I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, how? How are they up 16? So we go through the rest of practice, and I'm thinking like, oh, this is a cakewalk. The Timberwolves are going to run away with this thing. It's going to be 2-1. Timberwolves are going to be up. Get home, and all hell had broke loose. So I had recorded it. So as I rewound it back and realized, wow, that's the only thing I could do, Sam. And they end up losing. So I woke up a little nervous, Sam, because I remember the last time she had softball practice that happened. But I'm going to pray that doesn't happen. We have practice tonight. Same deal. I'm going to record the game. I know a coach is going to have it on the TV in the practice, or on his phone. He's going to stream it on his phone. But yeah, I'm nervous, Sam. What about you? How do you feel about today's game?
I wasn't nervous until I saw a stat that our boss, David Locke, tweeted out. Now, he does the Jazz games. So The Jazz were in the exact same situation.
They can't stop Luka.
Yeah, they can't stop Luka. They're in some trouble, but they were 2-2, just like the Wolves are. They went on the road to Dallas. Dallas was the home favorite. And David Locke, before the game, he tweeted out something like, home favorites in Game 5 when the series is 2-2 or when they've lost in Game 4. It was like 41-10, like home favorites in Game 5 off a loss. And then what happened?
There's a chance.
I'm saying that there are 10 teams that have done it. Dallas went out and won by 25, so the Jazz didn't break that trend. Maybe the Wolves can. I think they're 6-point underdogs on betonline.net. But this is going to be a tough test. I mean, Memphis is not going to roll over. Honestly, I'm a little nervous about Ja, because Ja has not played well in this series. He was pretty ineffective in Minneapolis. If he starts attacking again and getting to the line and racking up those foul counts, that could be the catalyst to kind of put Memphis back over the top.
Yeah, and for the novice out there, you said the Memphis Grizzlies on betonline.com are getting 6?
6-point favorites.
6-point favorites. So that means if the Timberwolves lose by 5, the Timberwolves cover, correct?
Right.
Okay. So in my opinion, I would bet on the Timberwolves to cover. That's just my opinion. They have not really gotten handled, I'd say, against this Grizzlies team. Now, we do know that game 2, but that was just I'm going to go on a limb. I don't think that's going to happen again. I pray that they don't just let it all go and it goes to hell, because 124-96, I don't see that really happening. I see the 104-95 Grizzlies. I see the 119-118. I see the 130-117 Timberwolves. I think, and it's just me, I think the Timberwolves at least have it figured out with the timeouts. Now, that's on Chris Finch. Does he have the ability and the know-how and the wits about himself to do it? Also, are the refs going to be a little less likely to help out the Grizzlies because of their coach? Like, his comments about them, he got fined. He said, I don't care. You can fine me, do whatever you want to do. Like, if I'm a referee, I have Twitter too. I have the internet. I have friends and family that have the internet and Twitter, and they know I ref that game. And they're probably texting me like, yo, what's going on, man? Why is he on y'all like that? Did y'all really do that? Did y'all bet on the game? Are y'all trying to, keep this, is the NBA rigged, as everybody likes to say? Are you guys really trying to push this to Game 7? Maybe when they get out there, those ticky-tacky Ja Morant drive to the lane bumps don't get called. Now, we know coaches do make those comments for refs to kind of be put on the spotlight. So now it's, glaring and people are watching. And when one's not called, that fan base is going to boo the heck out of them and they're going to yell and scream. Somebody might throw something on the court if it gets really bad, where Ja goes to the lane, Karl-Anthony Towns jumps straight up which he's allowed to, verticality, as they call it, and he doesn't get the foul, are the fans going to lose it because they're going to say one or the other? Vice versa, if he does get the call and it's not a foul, Timberwolves fans are going to take to Twitter, I know I am, and say the refs have been swayed. The refs have been swayed by a coach whose feelings were hurt and really just wanted to lay it on the line and say, you guys screwed my team. My team didn't lose. You lost it for my team. And so for me, the question I'm going to ask, what player needs to step up? For me tonight, it's Karl-Anthony Towns. Ben Johnson, we're going to talk to Ben Johnson later, and we're going to ask him his take on that as well. But I'm going to say Karl-Anthony Towns. Why? Because I think Ant Edwards, scoring 24 last time, I think Ant Edwards is fine. I think Edwards is going to do his thing. And when you look at, sorry, not 24. It is 24. When you look at Ant Edwards 24, Karl-Anthony Towns is what I meant, 33. So Ant Edwards 24, Karl-Anthony Towns 33. I think you got to get the same production. That's the guy. Karl-Anthony Towns has to step up for me. He has to stay out of foul trouble. He has to. Sam, who do you think?
So I don't know the answer to this question. This means I should be paying more attention when I watch the games, but whoever's guarding Desmond Bane needs to show up on that end of the floor. Because Desmond Bane has been the Grizzlies' best player in this series. It hasn't been Morant.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a credit to Patrick Beverley, because Beverley has been guarding Morant most of the time. And Beverley has been a menace. He's been a pest defensively. He's great on ball. Wolves have been bringing the double team on Morant, forcing him to give it up. That's great. But the guy he's given it up to, Desmond Bane, is hitting everything in sight. So who's going to be closing out on Desmond Bane? Who's going to prevent those three-point shots? 8 of 12 in the last game for Bane. So I need someone to show up on the defensive end tonight. I think that's where the Wolves win the game. I think they will get enough offense from their stars. I think that Edwards will give him 25. I think that Cat is locked in. I'm not worried as much about that end of the floor. I'm worried about the defensive end of the floor, because there have been periods in this series where the defense kind of just has they kind of black out for about 10 minutes, and they let the Grizzlies do whatever they want. Can't happen tonight. Got to defend for 48 minutes.
Yeah, it's a weird defense. They kind of run some, not weird. It's kind of a matchup, because you look at Ant Edwards. I think he's one of the most athletic guys I've seen, where he can guard just about everybody on the court besides a center. He's strong enough and jumps and physical enough to deal with some of the forwards, but then he also is quick enough, because we've seen him guard Ja Morant. And so my thought is, when you look at the way the Grizzlies play, it's a ball screen at the top with Ja Morant. They want to get him on somebody, going downhill, letting him use his athleticism. And so it's the closeout on Desmond Bane. I think that's what you're looking for. It's the closeout, because it's not you're not locking Desmond Bane down where he's getting the ball and then he's just going to kill you. It's that kick out. It's the secondary pass, because you've either had to sink a little bit to help on the pick and pop from Ja Morant, or the pick and drive from Ja Morant, and then he's kicking it out, and then it's the closeout. But I know it's between D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, and Patrick Beverley. They kind of all rotate with what they see with that matchup, where if Ja Morant's really just driving, they want a more physical guy that can push with them, run with them, and jump and block his shot, is Anthony Edwards. If it's kind of slowed down a little bit, you'll see D'Angelo Russell at the top on him. Edwards is over on Bane. And then vice versa, Pat Beverly's on Ja Morant, because he's just being an absolute pest. Sometimes he actually goes to Bane, Pat Beverly, because he is strong enough and doesn't mind the physical game that we know Bane can give you sometimes if he wants to bang down low. He has the weirdest shot, too. I don't understand. He's the only guy I know who shoots like that can actually get the shot off and makes it. But yeah, no, I think that's the one. The stat for me to watch, too, tonight, it's going to be Karl-Anthony Towns fouls. How many fouls versus minutes and versus points? I think that's going to be the deciding factor, too, for the Timberwolves. If Karl-Anthony Towns can stay out of foul trouble, and there's the one thing that I agree with the broadcast team. I think it must have been Reggie Miller. I don't know who made this call, but it was when I think it was Beasley. I can't remember who, but there was a foul called, and it was between him and I think Williams or Vanderbilt or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was McDaniels. It was either McDaniels. I think it was McDaniels and Beasley. So McDaniels had the fouls. Beasley, the foul was called on Beasley. It was the weird one where they kind of grabbed hands and smacked dude in the face. I think it was Ja Morant got hit in the face or something like that. it was a weird one where they called it on Beasley, and it wasn't on Beasley. It was on McDaniels running through and smacked him in the face with his hand. Beasley's like arguing, like, I never touched him. I don't know why y'all called the foul on me. Well, he talked long enough that the refs end up realizing it and putting the foul on a guy that already had 3 fouls. Like, that's the kind of things when you only have 1 foul or no fouls, you just raise your hand and you take that foul. You see Pat Beverly do it all the time. He takes the foul. He's like, yep, it's on me. It's not on Cat. Give it to me. Don't give it to Cat. That's where guys have to be a little bit more savvy, pay attention to the situation, stop arguing about who's the call on. Just know, like, dude has 3, I have 1. I'll take that one. It's on me. He argued and argued and argued, and they end up putting it on the other guy and gave him 4 fouls. And so stuff like that. If Cat's and you're in a situation and you're close, take the foul for Cat. Just put your hands up and lobby. Give it to me. Don't give it to Cat. We need to keep Cat out of foul trouble. That's what happened to John Morant. He was on the bench, only gave him 11 points. I think if he's on there, the fact that they lost by 1 and technically by 4 off after a last-second shot, probably a lot closer, and the Grizzlies probably win because of the way John Morant can drive to the lane. He was not able to do that in foul trouble, and then after, when you go to the bench and you come back, you're cold, and it just doesn't work out. So that's my stat to watch for the game.